2, 1, go ahead.
My name is Robert W. Reynolds, and I am 1 in a million. I'm age 66, originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and currently live in Tampa, Florida since 1996. My representatives are Kathy Castor, and of course Bill Nelson and Mel Martinez as our senators. I've been positive since April of 2003, and I was identified by my private doctor or tested positive. In August of 2003, I had already seen an infectious disease doctor and was put on my first regimen. By September 1st, 10 days after I started that regimen, I was in the hospital and my viral load had gone up over 2 million. It was a reaction to medications. In October, they put me on a second regimen. I also had a bad reaction to that regimen and only served or had 10 days on that particular regimen. So finally in December of 2003, I began a regimen that I'm currently still on, but I'm starting to show some resistance to it, and so they are at the point where we're looking at changing that regimen again, which I am very tentative about since I've had such a difficult experience before. In April of 2005, I had 5 heart attacks, and as a result of the angioplasty, they found 16 blockages, 9 of which were 95% or more, and that led to open heart surgery. In June of 2005, just 3 months later, was the first time that I had been undetectable, which isn't supposed to happen after heart surgery, but it did. Recently, in the last 6 months, though, we have seen a creeping of the numbers in the wrong direction for both the viral load and my CD4, CD8 counts. I was forced to retire originally back in 2003 because of the seriousness of that reaction and illness, and that led to a very difficult financial period for me. I've lost my home. I've lost most of my ability for retirement as a result of those losses. I suffered depression, and in general, although I've always been a volunteer in the community, really have had almost 2 years out of my life in the last 6 years that were spent in recuperation. I am currently involved in the community as an activist. I have been on the Ryan White Council. I'm still part of the Ryan White Council in committee functions. I chair the membership committee for the West Central Florida Ryan White Council. I have become active in my church, and in my particular case, I really do believe that I have seen the white light, death having been imminent. Also in that process, I've also had churches refuse to allow me to appear as a result of my being a gay man with HIV. They were hesitant to have someone representing that community in their churches. I've been active as a gay man and with the disease itself since 1978. I was president of the community center in Cleveland. I was fortunate enough to be involved and travel a lot, so I became familiar with the disease through the National Gay Lesbian Task Force in New York City, and I visited them once a month. Cleveland as a result, had its first medical and public seminar sponsored by the Cleveland Gay Lesbian Community Center in 1982, while I was president. In 1983, I wrote the first grant for an organization representing the gay community to the state of Ohio, which was funded. And in 1984, we were able to get funding from the city of Cleveland for a gay organization. In 1996, I moved to Florida because I was an only child to care for elderly parents. My folks were in their late 80s. My mother lived to be 95 years old, and I was their caretaker. My partner of the last 17 years was first tested positive in 1980. He has suffered from drugs, depression, and a very dysfunctional family, which resented his sexuality and his disease to the point where many of his family would not even serve him on their china. If he attended any kind of a family gathering, he was served on paper plates, and those utensils were disposed of during the meals. My first experience with his family, we were invited for dinner. His sister, who is a registered nurse, would not allow us to swim in their swimming pool because she was concerned we might infect her children. So I have actively worked to help people who are gay and who are positive. I currently am working on a project in the Tampa area where we do a 10-hour course for people newly diagnosed to self-empower them so that they can take charge of their lives and make sure that they get the proper medical treatment. My name is Robert W. Reynolds, and I am one in a million.